While being in isolation, two local college students, Melody Bathaee and Brianna Lopez, decided to communicate in their own way by podcasting. The podcast is titled Masters of, which corresponds to their open-ended theme of learning new things as time goes by. As it is a troubling time for most people, the podcast was intended to be a source of safety for those suffering with anxiety.
You both kind of dived into the fact that you made this podcast for people that were kind of walking home from work, driving from work, and that were kind of like scared of being alone. Would you want to elaborate a little more on that?
Yeah, so when I was working as a teenager, usually I would, have the late shift and close. As a woman, I don't really feel safe at night in this environment alone. When we started the podcast, I wanted to have a very specific feeling for people. And I guess the best way to describe it was the calmness that I felt whenever, or like even the happiness or relaxation I would feel when I would listen to those other podcasts or those other artists. I just wanted other people to feel that as well. So it's, it's a comedy podcast. We try our best. We also want it to be a effortless conversation for other people to just listen in and kind of tune out.
So usually on the way home from work, I love to listen to podcasts. And when I heard this one came out, I gave it a listen and I felt less anxious about my drive. I just deal with a lot of traffic on the way home, so it kind of helps make the time go by. It really felt like they were in the room. I recommend it to everyone.
We're really trying to just get people to connect to us and to feel like you're having a conversation with us.
Like, what do you want your audience to know about you guys? Like that they can't really figure out through the podcast?
We're kind of just making the podcast so that they don't feel alone. That's another big objective that we have for the podcast.
Trying to be relatable.
Yeah, because it is called Masters of, and we didn't put, another word at the end of that because we did want it to leave it as like an open-ended name or an open-ended response, because we're just emerging into adulthood and we don't know anything. Living in like a society like the United States, you kind of have this extremely fast transition from high school to just full-fledged adulthood.
Just trying to figure out everything and trying to really touch base on every new subject.
We're all learning together, especially as college students that, we're so young. We're all experiencing the same things at the same time. So it's good that the audience can listen to you guys and kind of feel like they're going through the same things, like they're not alone. That kind of leads me into the next question of like, what do you want to achieve with this podcast?
I do just love talking already anyways, so it's kind of fun just being able to do that in my own space. The only thing that right now that we want to achieve for other people is them being able to feel comfortable and relaxed and just able to like have fun and just listen to it.
Being in quarantine, it's very hard to be in social settings, and for me, being an introvert, I think it's really good to help my communication skills, just to be a better speaker. And definitely just from the first episode to our third episode, I feel like I've definitely am improving, and I am happy to see where that goes.
I'm sure you guys have received the positive feedback, but how do you feel when you get that positive feedback?
For me, I was really nervous putting myself out there. It is a big step putting yourself out there for the whole world to listen to you. So getting that positive feedback just makes me want to keep doing it. And just, I hope that people can really resonate with what we say and take their own perspective on things.
It's kind of like our inspiration as well when we're recording.
Bathaee and Lopez's podcast, Masters of, is now available for streaming on Spotify and Apple Music.
Thank you guys for talking to me.
Yeah, thank you.
I will look forward to listening to more of this podcast.
Hope you enjoy.